husband's boss, did the unthinkable to me. Discover the shocking truth about what happened when my husband's boss took things too far. From unexpected confrontations to unbelievable revelations, this video shares my personal story of dealing with a difficult situation at work. If you've ever felt disrespected or mistreated by someone in authority, you won't want to miss this emotional and inspiring tale of standing up for oneself. Watch until the end to find out what happened and how I coped with the aftermath. Join me as I take on the challenge of confronting my husband's boss about the unthinkable thing he did to me. I'm still trying to process the events that unfolded, and to be honest, I'm still shaking with anger and disbelief. My husband's boss crossed a line that I never expected, and it's going to take me a while to forgive and forget. My husband and his boss had a pretty good working relationship, or so I thought. They would often meet for lunch or dinner, and my husband would always come home with some funny story about their conversations. But looking back, I realized that their dynamics were a bit off. My husband would often make excuses for his boss's behavior, saying things like, "Oh, that's just how he is," or "he's just stressed out." I brushed it off as my husband being too kind, but deep down, I knew something was off. I remember my husband telling me about how his boss would often make snide comments about other employees, or how he would micromanage every little thing. My husband would just laugh it off, saying, "Oh, that's just part of the job." But I knew that it wasn't normal. I've worked in offices before, and I know how bosses should treat their employees. There were definitely some red flags, but my husband was too blinded by his loyalty to see them. As time went on, my husband started to come home more and more frustrated. He would tell me about how his boss would yell at him in front of others, or how he would constantly change his mind about projects. I tried to be supportive, but I knew that something was brewing. My husband was getting more and more agitated, and I could see the tension building up inside him. The days leading up to the incident were tense, to say the least. My husband was working late hours, and I could sense the frustration building up inside him. He would come home, exhausted and defeated, and I could see the anger simmering just below the surface. I tried to talk to him about it, but he just brushed it off, saying, "I'll handle it, don't worry." The day it happened, I was at home when my husband came storming through the door. He was shaking with rage, and I could see the tears welling up in his eyes. "What's wrong?" I asked, but he just shook his head, unable to speak. It took him a few minutes to compose himself, but when he did, the words that came out of his mouth left me breathless. His boss had gone too far, and I'll never forget the look on my husband's face when he told me what happened. It was a mix of anger, shame, and helplessness, and it broke my heart to see him like that. I knew right then and there that I had to do something, that I had to stand up for my husband and confront his boss about the unthinkable thing he did to him. The moment it happened, I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. I couldn't believe that someone could do something so cruel and heartless to another human being. I was angry, I was hurt, and I was determined to make sure that it never happened again. Recapping the story, I realized that there were so many warning signs that we missed. We should have seen it coming, but sometimes we get too close to the situation and we miss the obvious. But I'm grateful that it happened, strange as it may sound. It made us stronger, and it taught us to stand up for ourselves and for each other. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've ever had a similar experience, please share your story in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos for more relatable stories, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Cold.